I want to share with you some of my life experiences to help understand how I got to where I am today as a person. You know, when I was in my 40s, I sort of looked back to my 30s and my 20s, and I sort of wondered, what the fuck? Where did everything go? My life has changed so much. Where did the time go? And you know, in that time, you feel invincible. You can do anything. In your 20s, you drank, you work, you played hard, and you got up in the morning and went to work. You know, that was your life. You had no problems. You were, well, I was single. I was in relationships, but I wasn't in a real permanent relationships. Love was sort of up and down. And you're sort of making plans for the future and sort of, I'm going to do this, I want to have that. And then suddenly you look back, you reach 40 and go, what happened? And before you know it, the time has passed. And this is when you realise that time isn't endless. You know, every second that passes, every minute that passes, we're never going to get back. And you know, when I think back, you sort of, in that period, in that time, you're sort of wasting it on petty things, on materialistic things, a new car or a new second-hand car in my situation, arguing with people that you love and care about, arguments at job, trying to chase that promotion that didn't make any difference in your life anyway. You start to realise, was it worth it? But now, after reaching 40 and my health, I had a major health scare in my mid-40s, and after that I realised, it sort of hit me, what really is important in life. And that moment has helped me come to this stage of my life where I feel much better within myself, and realise that the time I have in the future is not that long anymore. So I want to be able to enjoy this as much as I can. If you want to make a change, start now, because tomorrow might not never happen. All that matters is how we choose to live today, at the present moment. In the pursuit of happiness, we seem to chase the things that don't really matter. I mean, I think it's just that inexperience of youth and the vigoration of life that you want to chase everything, and you have that energy. And we tend to chase happiness in all the wrong places, in jobs that we feel toxic, that we're not happy in, but yet we stick in there because we find ourselves in a financial situation that we're too afraid to move from. You know, even relationships. I mean, in my 20s, I had several relationships. Those relationships were important, but people change, people move on, you know, and in a way, that was one of the positive things. I had a wonderful time in those relationships, but you grow from each other. You have different stages, different goals, well, in the partners that I had, and that's okay. You know, it was great when it was there, but we moved on, and we weren't afraid to move on. Don't stick with it if you're not happy in it, and talk about it with each other, because I'm sure your partner's probably feeling the same way in that sort of situation. It wasn't until I hit rock bottom in my 40s that I realised that everything that I thought was important wasn't important. And the important thing for me was my family, and I learned to be healthy. I had to get healthier. I had destroyed part of my body, and that was never going to recover. So I had to look after myself much, much better, and that is due to my 20s and 30s and 40s, the lifestyle that I led and the habits I kept, I had to break away from. And it took a major trauma event, it took a major traumatic event in my life to turn me around. And I hope this helps you, that you don't have to go through that experience, but just be aware and try and find the things that are important to you, and find the things that make you happy. And I've got friends, and all they tend to do at my age or even older, and they still consume so much. They can't help themselves. That's the way they find their happiness, is just consuming, just to have everything. And then they look at our quiet life and, we're happy, we don't have that stress of, we've got a big house, we've got to get a security system, we've got to have a lock, a bit better locks on the door, and all this stress that comes with consuming, and for us it's just, chill, man, it's okay, we don't need to worry about that, it's good. Learn to appreciate the mundane things in life, the simple things, just walking in nature, being outside, you don't have to be rush everywhere. That's one thing that I have learned to do, is that slow down in life, to love the journey, love the time you have now, because there is no destination. The only destination is a hole in the ground. And another point is fear of failure. I missed many opportunities because I was too scared of letting fear dictate my life. And that fear of failure played a big role in the way that holds you back. And the fear of saying, oh no, I won't do it now. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I have to think about it. We're so good at making up excuses to put things off. But tomorrow or next week might never come. And you realise, oh, I missed that opportunity, or that person died. And when we're at our age, we experience the loss of loved ones more than we did in their 20s and 30s. Your parents, your cousins, your brothers or sisters. We're prone to much more diseases and illnesses. And death is much more around us than it was when we were younger, especially with loved ones. Don't let grudges stand in the way. Get out there and say hello again. Start a connection if you want to, if that's important to you, because you will regret it if you don't. And when you're ready to make that jump into doing something, to change something in your life at this age, at our age, no one's going to be there to push you. You have to make that choice. You have to change. You can't expect someone else to do it for you. Nobody is. Nobody cares about that. It's your change, just like I did with this YouTube channel. I made that choice. I'm going to do it. I had to step in, although I was afraid of doing this, talking to you, talking to people, talking to the camera, and talking about my experiences and my feelings. I've done it, and it feels great. I get so energized from it. That's butterfly. Back to relationships. I've kindled relationships with people that I hadn't seen or heard from in 30 years. And that is such a joyful thing to do, to have that ability to. It's such a nice thing to have now, is that connection of that part of your life. For me, that was in Australia. So to have that part of my life and to relive that in the memories of someone I spent that time with is just such a nice, put you in such a nice space of understanding who you are. So don't give up on relationships, or if you're thinking about people that you haven't seen for a long time, make that step. Don't wait for them to do it. They may never do it. Make that step. Reflection on your life is the way forward to self-growth. We spent most of our time in the 20s and 30s and 40s just living, just consuming. Now we're at this stage of our life. It's time to reflect. It's time to, and this is where your spirituality or your faith grows, I think. And that's a really nice place to be. For me, the self-growth that I'm doing, it's also my videos that I'm sharing are helping me reflect on myself. And I hope that that reflection helps someone else to turn inward and reflect on their life, to help them ease into their senior years. You don't have to rush around. You can ease into your senior years and just take your time, slow down. As I mentioned, slow down and live a simpler life. Enjoy it and stop worrying. You know, you learn to, I think, the older you get, you don't worry. Well, I don't. I mean, I have health issues, but I don't let them control my life. I control them. I've been going to the hospital a lot over the last few months, but I'm not letting that get me down. Sure, I get down. Sure, I get depressed. But I try and lift myself out of that and just get on. Do it. With growth, you know, being alone sometimes is not a bad thing because it allows you that time to self-reflect, to meditate even. There's no second chance at life. There's no rewinds. There's not, let's do it again. I mean, with this video, I can just rewind and do it again. And then my life is captured in video for all eternity on YouTube. And that's where I'm going to be. But no, life is now. And don't forget that. Love, be loved. Don't waste your time on fear. Don't waste it on things that don't matter. Be kind. Please be kind. You only get one life, so enjoy it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Until next time.